Good evening, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Good evening, everybody. I was waiting on some music or something.
Oh, you want some music? Okay.
Normally, we have like some light little jazz or something. Got us feeling all bougie like we about to sip wine and cheese, but you know, tea and crumpets or whatever. But we it's raw. I'm not in my normal domain anyway. So,
That's all
good
right.
evening. I know, right? We still gonna have it. We still gonna have this show, and it's still gonna be impactful as we intended to be. But definitely good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Roundtable Talk. It's yet another Tuesday. Again, like I just said, I'm not in my normal safe space, but I'm not gonna use no safe words. I promise. Um, so I definitely
Can y'all
want
hear
to
me?
welcome. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. Can we see you? Let's do a mic check. Go ahead, Miss Cat. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can.
All right, all right. Dusty, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I hear y'all. So we good. If Perry jump in, we gonna check his mic too. God dang it. Make sure that the oppressor don't oppress. You know what I'm talking
I know what happened to mine
about?
though.
Again, y'all, thank y'all for being with us, family. Again, like I said, this is definitely your Tuesday, our roundtable talk show on the Knowledge Power Podcast live. Uh, we're gonna stop fronting like the American people isn't running on fumes in this particular show, especially while they tell us everything is okay under the guise of the republic democracy that we have here in the United States of America. Um, we're focusing on a government shutdown that starves families but never starves the war machine. Snap and Wick threaten, as y'all can see, in the coming days. Housing help delayed, but drone strikes fly. Foreign checks clear, and you better believe the White House renovation slipped through the cracks without daylight or delay.
Mhm.
Um, that's not by accident, y'all. That's 100% an imposed agenda. Um, hidden, like I said, in the smoke of a government shutdown. Also, in that smoke in Texas, they've turned democracy into business, into a business model, especially with the 17 constitutional amendments dressed up as relief and security, while power and profit swift upward. You know, swiftly shift upward. Might I add? And we're already undergoing early elections on those state propositions here in Texas. So I definitely want those that have not been to the polls just yet to check out our last episode here on the Roundtable Talk, and we'll dig in as much as we possibly can so that you can make a sound decision on what's actually being presented or asked of you uh, in these particular propositions. While overseas junkets look like diplomacy, um, thanks to our governor, but I want you all to read the deal tables like they presented. You know what I'm saying? He's always sitting at the table, so I definitely need you to read the deal tables. And at home here, especially in the city of Beaumont or wherever you are in the city or in the state of Texas, um, if you want protection, you're gonna have to build it on your own, and that looks like food, water, energy, care, 100% without waiting on broken systems. or even townships um, smaller than a metropolis losing resources. And I do want people to know that live in larger cities that that is a trickle up effect. Um, Even if you believe that people are going to transport themselves to your major city hospitals, clinics, and such, that's not gonna happen like y'all think. Um, so tonight we name the conflict, we trace the causes, we follow the consequences, and lay out the cures. From DC to Austin to your front porch, when the smoke clears, I want our people to be standing 100%. Again, please pardon. I'm not in my normal space, but my dog is with me. Y'all heard her. She ready.
Traveling puppy, huh?
She travels very well, by the way.
Where's the sound? I don't hear anything.
There's
Hello?
there's an altercation outside. I don't want everybody to hear that.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so like I said, when the smoke clears, I want our people to definitely be standing. With me here at the table is Dr. Catherine Campbell. Say hello to the people, Queen.
Good evening, people.
Yes, indeed. That's the fine print surgeon right there who shows you where the trap is 100%. And then, of course, my brother Perry Busby might tip in. He's the receipts man. If money moves, he'll definitely map it out. I got my battle buddy Dustin Harris. Say hello to the people, brother. I mean, I see him there.
Maybe he can't hear you.
Probably so. Um, Although we do have him on the line. That's the make it plain guy. So nobody is confused about what's actually going on. Um, so we'll get to work as much as we possibly can. I see we have some technical difficulties plus some issues around us. So yeah, we'll work around it. I don't hear him anymore, so I don't know if y'all could hear it because I
We
did
can't
have
hear it.
these. Oh good. Oh good. I'm glad I got noise canceling earbuds. Dustin, say hey to the people, man. I think they was hating on you earlier. Anyway, we're gonna get to work. Segment one, our national topic. This is the shutdown machine. Subtitle for this particular subject is Starving Citizens to Feed the Empire. And that's what I want every one of us to understand and to see how uh, these things are coming into play for everyday Americans. The 2025 federal shutdown programs frozen, workers furloughed. Of course, while defense spend and foreign transfers keep humming. SNAP, WIC, rental assistance distributions, food distributions even uh, is facing pressure placed on some of the poorest and fixed income households across America, not just in red states and or blue states, across the entire um, country. Emergency, especially at the White House, renovations and expedited vendor work, moving without sunlight. I mean, I don't know if y'all been watching the um some of the mainstream media's covered that, but I definitely want you to know U.S. foreign dollars. U.S. dollars to foreign governments have also been sent out while we are in a government shutdown. Again, security partners. That's air quotes for those that are listening. Within public oversight, drone and marine strikes continue under defense barriers. That's again airstrikes for those that are listening. So I almost did it in all caps, like, 45, 47 likes to do. And I almost came up with a new name for them. So I'll probably introduce y'all to that new name maybe next week. I hear people calling them cankles, but I don't like that one. That's too rich. I used to say that about people. Never mind. So yes, we're definitely paying attention to US dollars. Um, that's even in overseas. So the bottom line is the US is not broke. The United States of America is not broke, but it is being stripped. And I'm talking about of almost every power that we gave it or give it or allow it. I want you to know that this shutdown is 100% the smokescreen. They call it fiscal restraint, but the restraint never lands on foreign checks or defense contractors. It lands on families with two kids and an EBT card. Shutdown is the silence tactic. This shutdown is the silence tactic. I'm gonna say it one more time for y'all that may not be believing it or that align with it. This shutdown is a silence tactic. Stall the programs, stall the watchdogs, slide the contracts in, especially your special interest contracts. Our answer has to be paperwork and people, 100%. And at the same time, document, appeal, and organize relief that does not wait on the government or the gates to reopen. We're gonna move to our power shots. Y'all ready for y'all shots?
Certainly.
Absolutely. I'm sure y'all were thirsty this whole week, not having anything to shot. Like the Campbell. When the
Yeah.
when the government pauses workers and or pauses pay to workers and aid to communities, but not war and vendors, special interest vendors, might I add, wherein the uh wherein the shutdown language is that protected, and how is the public supposed to see it? Let us know.
It's kind of like making a choice between buying food and having insurance, huh?
Hmm.
Okay, so when the government stops paying its own workers, but it keeps paying defense contractors, it's not defending the people, it's defending the profits.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
Man,
I
do
know, right?
see through that bag real quick. What was that, rum queen?
Shot.
Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Make it plain for the households if you could, Battle. If SNAP or rent is disrupted, right? Like interrupted regardless to race, creed, culture. What are the first three calls of filing they should make tomorrow morning or already ago?
Man, they ain't got no choice. You're gonna have to figure it out. Cause they don't care about you. Stop caring about them. And gather up with your family and try to figure out some food sources because they doing it because they think it's a punishment, but they punishing the wrong people. Well, let me change that. They're not punishing the wrong people. They're punishing their own people, not knowing that they are doing it or not caring that they're actually doing it. Because according to the numbers, I'm getting my read on
Come on.
the
Drop them
largest
numbers.
the largest participant in SNAP is white non-Hispanic because they made sure
That's right.
couldn't have a drop of Hispanic blood in you.
Right.
Because apparently that makes you not white, but some people don't know that. Uh, Non-Hispanic, 37%. So that equates to about 15,406,800 folks that probably voted for MAGA, and now MAGA is kicking them off snap. You can check the math. It's about accurate. Could give or take a few hundred folks because there's no exact number of the population, but
Hmm.
that's about what they got. But the problem is they thought they was punishing folks that don't look like them.
Right.
Well, at least that's what they selling. But apparently they don't read their own literature that says how many of their own folks are actually living off the system on a day-to-day basis, and that's the only way they're gonna stay
Oh,
alive. So
Right.
again, like I said on previous shows, the funeral man is about to get in the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
Man, my shot is inside the process. How do um how do we force itemized disclosure and post shutdown audits when leadership hides corruption behind procedure? And so like there's three key places um I would consider leverage points, right? And these leverage points, um, I would say you could do regardless to what the government is saying or who's in these particular spaces. Because again, when the gates swing open, they still have to respond to the paperwork. So file anyway. Your federal filings of information acts, they still got to process that. Open records request that for your state and your municipal spaces, county included. If you are a county space, you could request open records requests to what your county is doing. Um, Townships, all of that information is open records. So regardless to how large or small your city is, there's open records. If you want to dig even deeper, you could find open records for your particular precinct and or your particular ward. So in order to know how to do, you're gonna have to feel your way around those spaces, familiarize yourself with those particular avenues of information, data, and I'm talking about hard data that will tell you this area is saturated with elderly. This area is saturated with majority homeless, majority fixed income, underinsured, uninsured, all of those demographics and data points are in open records. So I could, definitely um, expect y'all to move in those spaces, find those records. Again, being that it's closed and can be delayed, it does not say that it's going to be erased. The moves that they make without us knowing in this smoke can definitely be found out. It's not going to be erased unless the hostile government takeover just burns all the information and choose not to document what's going on. But again, even in that space, you as the American people, we as the American people have more power than what's being sold. Pair of stories with statutes impact residents, impacted residents plus legal aid plus reporters plus oral histories and different things like that. Capture that, get all that information, get all those documentations, get all those verbal stories, right? And again, um, be able to document it uh, and submit it to you know the government, what regardless to which government, if you work your way up all the way up to the federal government, from your district attorney all the way up to your Department of Justice, and because those regardless to how you elect those individuals are and they are appointed, justice is supposed to be balanced. So you should be able to address those individuals in the courts accordingly. Again, post shutdown audits formally demand a ledger of all emergency procurements and approvals executed during the pause. You could definitely get all that information, find out what's actually going on. For the flashpoint, chat, this is for you. When the government stops feeding families but never stops feeding the war machine, what are we living in? Put one in the chat for a democracy, put two in the chat for a dictatorship, and put three in the chat for something worse. And if it's three, tell us why. Tell us why. Um, know your rights. Um, Federal Information Act and the open records agencies must acknowledge receipt of your request and cite lawful basis for delay, if any. And then you can definitely, as the filer, appeal the unreasonable redactions to the oversight of the Oversight's office and the attorneys general. Um, know your rights in the snap and WIC. Request expedited issuances. File a administrative appeal in writing. In writing, don't just talk to somebody. Oh, I talked to somebody. No, that's not gonna work. Even when you talk to somebody, document who you talk to and put that also in writing. You understand that? Log caseworkers, names, dates. Even if you have to escalate to a supervisor, you want that in there too. So, um, all of that is documented and submitted to, you know, particulars. Housing benefits, USAID. I don't know if y'all all thought that USAID only went to foreign countries. No, USAID helped you also, just like Dustin said, with rent, aid, and assistance. That's where a lot of monies was coming into organizations like Catholic Charities, Red Cross, veteran even organizations that helped veteran families not become or not be homeless. Again, housing benefits in that space asks for written program status. Demand statutory citation for any pause, screenshot, portals, and keep letters. You could definitely ask for any of that. And if you sent anything out via snail, make sure you made a copy of it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oversight, 100% oversight after operations resume on the federal level, because again, remember, we are considered to be federally shut down. Um, File for contracts list, especially with this repair or construction that's going on the East Wing. Ask for vendor names, dates, amounts, and approvers. Proceed during this shutdown windows. If there's anybody that approved, we need to know, because again, the purse, according to the operate the way that this country and government is supposed to operate, the purse is closed. There should be no construction going on if the purse closed. That's like your wife took your wallet, bro. You don't even have tap. She she got your phone, fam.
Always keep cash in the car.
Man, she went through that before you even went to sleep.
What about the
The
old
purse,
South?
yeah, that's about all you got is the sock. That's about it. And the can in the backyard, like Papa taught you. That's about the only ones you got. And you better hold on to those because, again, the purse closed. And they must got a hole in it because our government and some of our people failed to not follow their money. This is your volunteered, hard earned money. I don't care how many people say I'm not going to pay taxes. Guess what? Your government is still spending your money. The roundtable question for this one, for this particular segment, of course, Queens have the floor. If your government can shut down your survival but never its wars, what does responsible loyalty to this country look like? And what do people build first so our neighborhoods don't collapse again? Especially like what's documented in the eras before baby boomers. Go ahead, Queen, you have the floor.
Gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fast. Yeah.
Mm,
If your government can cut off your survival, but not its wars, loyalty starts to look like submission.
mm.
The next move, stand together and demand better. How?
Facts. Facts. Dustin, you have the floor.
Okay. Well, this this is why I don't believe in political parties. They all just there to corral the masses and to feeding the rich. So yeah, make them at least work for it. Don't just be another fish in a barrel for them. Put forth some effort. See if they could spend some of that campaign money on you.
Right, right, right. I agree. I agree. Come on. You got billions in your trillions in your campaign coffers, and here it is, man. Now stop. We're already about to make the first world's trillionaire through loopholes. Make that make sense. I would definitely say uh responsible loyalty is a covenant, y'all. And I don't remember if y'all remember that, especially if you missionary Baptist church, there's covenants that come with that church. There's the, Koji covenant, there's the covenant that you make, you know, um on a spiritual level. But this one is equivalent. You understand that? The um yeah, the it, it- only difference is it's with community on this level, y'all. Like in a manner that says I'm regardless to what people have put my communities through, I'm willing to build within my community. And so some of those things look like, building food chains. I understand, some people said there's, the food pantry. A lot of those foods, whether we realize it or not, are also foreign imported. So you 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 have to think about all of that. Mostly what America growers, farmers grow is soybean, and there's the soybean war currently going on right now on selling it. I don't know if y'all paying attention to the money or the bribe monies that our federal government is sent off, but yeah, definitely start food chains, right? Pantry circles. That's with two community fridges, uh, with the rotation schedule. And these fridges I'm talking about look like several homes, not just one particular space. Because if you put your food in one space, we know what the ops will do for that. So you definitely have to be flexible and strategic in how you're gonna place particular things, right? Um, Care webs. Somebody had something to say? I heard somebody unmute. Like they was like, yeah, yeah, say that, huh? No, just kidding. Care webs, this comes or this looks like block captains who track meds, clinic drivers, and elders check-ins. You know what I'm saying? Checking on the elders, making sure that the disabled have access to medication. If no medicine or clinics are open, hospitals are open around you, and if there are, be able to lend them transportation, because I don't know if you all know how much money, federal money, goes into your public transportation systems. I just definitely need y'all to know that. So don't always expect, especially during a federal shutdown, that we're going to be able to continue the operations that we had. Okay? There's a lot of supplements that your city, your county, your state has that's tied to federal monies. And so, yeah, be prepared for something going awry. Power maps, who has generators, batteries, refrigeration for insulation. Again, not the same space for your food. Um, there's other medications that is needs refrigeration. You do not want to keep that in the same space where your triage is, or your dry meds. I mean, like, even even Dr. Campbell will let you know you keep those two things in two separate spaces. I mean, even we know you don't put baby powder underneath the kitchen sink just in case it'll, leak or something like that. You just don't, you don't put flour underneath the kitchen sink. Yeah, you don't put sugar underneath the kitchen sink. You don't put cornmeal underneath the kitchen sink. Those dry goods. But definitely comms tree, communication, one text captain for people that don't answer their phone. Okay, you ain't answer, it's a mass text going out, right? Um and this is a mass text per 10 homes or per block. Just like Dustin said a few shows ago, blocks are made in blocks for a reason. And so, you know, we have to be 10 toes down in 10 blocks. And so, we definitely need those. Um, make sure that we have listed, again, homes listed that identifies elder needs. Again, when Washington blinks, when the state goes insufficient, and our cities begin to strangle us on increases because of budget shortfalls or shortfalls from the federal government, those are some of the things that we're going to need. So I definitely want y'all to understand that. From national smoke screens to the state showcase, I definitely want y'all to know we're talking about Texas, but not Texas alone, because many red state led governments and municipalities are aligning with a lot of what Texas is doing. And so, for our nationwide listeners, and our nationwide watchers, I definitely want you to understand that we're not just talking about what happens here in Beaumont, Texas, or in Texas, period. We're talking about a national trend that we're starting to see in our state, county, and local governments. So, um, I know we did. I'm reading some of the some of the backstage comments. Yeah, we're gonna definitely. That's on that show recommendation that you made, Dr. Campbell. Um, yeah, it hits home, especially when you're talking about that question you imposed to me before I left Beaumont. Um, But segment two, I definitely like I said, I definitely want to show you um how we go from the national smokescreen to the state showcase, showing where Texas is the franchise model. And so, our topic for this particular segment is exporting the experiment and going from don't mess with Texas to Texas sales to the highest bidder. Of course, some of the things that we're digging into in this particular segment is how Governor Abbott, Dustin, is our governor's name. Nationwide is Governor Hot Wheels, but we definitely want to show how his overseas trade missions, that's air quotes for those that are listening, to Israel, Japan, the UK, and some of the phone calls he's probably made, framed as diplomacy, used as donor adjacent deal tables. We're definitely digging on that. Private underwriting for portions of travel, lodging, maxed by official businesses or official business. And we're going to air quote that too, right? We're on official business. So um, we definitely want to be able to show that to you, and also show how post trip outcomes, um, like energy data mining, private prisons, even defense suppliers, often donor linked, gain traction, especially in some of these propositions. If you dig in to really find out why all of a sudden these propositions come to the Texas voter right after September 1st is new laws were just thrown on your front porch. Again, that's September 2025. You got new laws. Um, and November 4th, 2025, they're asking you to go to the polls to give them even more rights to restrict and restrain your rights and redirect your benefits. So I just want y'all to know Texas is on a 200 and some odd $1 million surplus. Y'all better try to figure out where that money going. The 17 ballot propositions marked as relief here in the state of Texas. And again, we're not the only one that has ballot or constitutional amendments on the ballot. So be mindful. But again, they're marked as relief, air quotes for those that are listening, and security for those that are listening, because those air quotes is definitely not showing in our favor, but it is functionally shifting power up and shifting power away from public goods and private and to private stakeholders. So even in when, as I mentioned, private stakeholders, even in our local bond proposition, we don't have local stakeholder measures. So you definitely want to check that out. Again, when you go to the polls on November 4th, be mindful of what you're voting for. Again, Texas is the prototype for a privatized state. A privatized state, not one that's ran by its people. These looks like contracts that run contractors that run these alleged agencies like TCEQ, turning a blind eye to emissions and different things like that by governments and industries, and bowing to the alleged beast of railways. But again, we'll definitely be talking about that in the coming days. Real reform leaves locals with a veto. That's what real reform looks like. It also, if you ask me, especially here in the state of Texas, real reform also looks like me telling my governing officials, not only do I have the right to veto what you spitting, I also got the right to we call that remove you from office. And that's even in the high space as a governor and yeah, and an attorney general. Of course, that will be measures on the ballot, just like you propositioned us this time to remove even more power from the people here in the state of Texas. So, again, that's what real reform looks like. Capture removes it from the people, and that's what the 17 propositions here in the state of Texas does. It captures power from the people. If the city can't block a state blessed deal that drains budgets and sells data that franchises governance, y'all heard me. That's franchise governance.
Mhm.
The amendments aren't just policy shifts, y'all. They're locks on the door from us. We already can't visit the governor's mansion, especially as a brown person, even in 2025. Y'all ready for y'all shots? Um, Dustin, we're gonna start with your shot first. Um, why do Texans keep approving measures that tighten chains? Is it misinformation? Is it the ballot wording, or is it exhaustion? Is people just tired? And if you could, how do we interrupt it before election day, which again is November 4th?
All right, we feel I don't usually get this deep on the subjects, but this one struck a nerve. All right. The reason stuff is like this for Texas folks, especially the middle class and all those, is because well, not that long ago, because people like to say it's long, long, long time ago, but it really ain't. People thought Willie Lynch, when he came over to teach how to break a slave, that was the only mind tricks he was playing. And he was the only person out there playing those mind tricks. He was not. Because let's go all the way back to 1964. Lyndon B.
Come on.
Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best black man, he won't even notice when you're picking his pocket. And if
Facts.
you give him something to look down on, he'll empty his pockets for you.
Right. Here, let me,
That
Repeat that
lesson
for the
was
people in the back.
that lesson
Repeat
was
that,
learned
Dustin.
then, and it's repeating now.
Hmm.
Because
she say repeat it for the people in the back, Dustin.
all right, one more
And
again,
let us know who said it
1964.
again.
Lyndon B. Johnson, I believe he was president at the time. If you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best black man, he won't notice that you're picking his pocket. Hell, give
Man.
him something to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you.
Mm.
That's the majority of Texas right now.
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that shot was bitter. What you put in there, Dustin?
Sound like he had a squeeze of lemon that perked him up. Wow.
No, that was that straight lime zest. That's what that was. That was that lime zest. He zested it only, Queen, just the shavings of
Mm. Skin shavings, huh?
it.
Epithelials.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
translate two common labels in these propositions, like tax relief, air quote, and security, air quote.
Mm.
Where does authority actually move in those spaces? And if you could, what local checks disappeared? Let us know.
Hold on.
I know she got her notes.
Oh yeah, I got my notes, but that's not the question you gave to me.
That's not it.
No. My question was, how do the 17 propositions tie back to this web of foreign and corporate money? And what's the full pattern that we're seeing unfold? That's my question.
Actually, that is your question. My
Hmm.
apologies. My
That's all
apologies.
right.
Told y'all I'm not working with my normal in my normal space.
So
That is
I'm going to
definitely
answer
your
the question
question,
that I
Queen.
was given.
Yes, please.
Okay. Because that's what I'm prepared for. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared for the one you got me right now. But trust me, it was already on my mind, but I just didn't do it. Okay. but you know what? I'm a be ready because you got to stay ready to keep from having to get ready here.
Get ready. Absolutely.
Hmm. Okay, so anyway, the 17 propositions aren't random. They're part of a bigger game. Follow the money and you'll see the same hands. Foreign interests and big corporations shaping the rules to keep power and profits flowing their way.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. And her shot again to reiterate was, how do 17 propositions tie back to this web of foreign and corporate money? And I want y'all to know, especially here in the state of Texas, one of the main leaders for corporate money is Elon Musk.
That's true.
Another big recipient for corporate money here in the state of Texas is many of the plants that you see with the fire and smokestacks of steams in majority black and minority populated communities. Those are the the corporate monies that we talking about. Again, many of these corporations that get corporate tax breaks here in the state of Texas at behest of our governor, y'all, is foreign owned. I better understand what this oil is, whose oil we is processing.
Mm,
I didn't say who oil we drilling.
mm-mm.
You better understand who oil we processing. And again, understand the full pattern that she just read out to y'all, because they out to get you, especially if you're not careful. And I'm next week we ooh, Dr. Campbell, that's some information there. That's heavy. That's heavy of what you asked us to talk about. But it's coming. Um
So ready.
my my question for the power shot is, how do we stop Texas from being the testing lab for tyranny, both legislatively and culturally? And I will say, especially through cultural reform. And again, I'm not an elected official. Um, I just pay attention to the laws and what govern me, and how some of our elected officials either uh, author legislation, support legislation, and or co-author legislation. And so um, I think there's even for this particular space, um, we have to get travel manifests, especially from our broker and not our governor. Apparently, he's our acquisitioner and not our governor. So travel manifests. Ask where they at. Um, Ask for our security invoices.
Mm.
Um,
And
and
who
I'm gonna keep
paid the
saying
way?
ours. Right. I'm gonna keep saying ours because that's for us. Um, Ask for our meeting agendas for whoever you want to speak to, and what you want to speak to them about on our behalf. We need those meeting agendas.
Tax dollars.
Right, right, absolutely. Um, um, and we also want the full readout, like what was the response from the parties that you met. That needs to be also included. Then we're gonna cross match all of that with those that you spoke to and the vendors that we have bidding for property here in the state of Texas. Or if it ain't property on the surface top, then it's people's property underneath. Oh, we saw you. Uh, EPA just approved the CCS here in the in Jefferson County. We saw you how you trying to manipulate um, through TCEQ even these big corporations that we was talking about. Yeah, but that's coming. That's coming next week. That's coming next week. That's coming next week. Queen, you messy. I love it. I definitely want y'all to know. Um, yeah, cross-reference those returns, right? Conflict maps, define um, donor filings, figure out where they from. Form 1295, which is a form that you get from the state, plus award notices, uh, and then publish everything. Put all of it out there. Put it all out there. File formal ethics complaints. Again, I don't care if we'll never see the results of it because of our age. We'll never let our children and our children's children suffer these same conditions. So file it, put out that information, let it be known. Sit at the table, sit on the couch, sit in the backyard, sit on the fish pond with some of these young and upcoming leaders in our community and let them know what they are poised to face. Ballot challenges. I definitely want y'all to know. We could definitely put plaintiffs and affidavits now to contest misleading um, constitutional language within the statutory window. And if after it passed, we still got what? We got 6 months, huh, Queen?
Say it one more
To
time. I'm sorry.
to uh, prep affidavits and plaintiffs for contests on misleading language and impact of these um, propositions. We have at least 6 months to do an appeal, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yes, until June.
That's what I
If
thought.
if, if I'm not mistaken, I could be, but I
We'll
think it is
verify.
until June.
Yeah, we'll verify. But I know you do have a window before these things are actually implemented into official law here in the state of Texas. And you, the people, can challenge that. You could definitely challenge that. The flashpoint for this particular segment is when a state acts like a corporation, what does that make its people? I wanted to say sharecroppers, but I didn't. So we'll say
Thank you.
shareholders. I wanted to say slaves, but we won't. We'll say
Thank you.
servants. And number three, so that's number one. Shareholders is number one. Servants is number two. Put two in the chat for servants. And for number three, if you're like me, I wanted to put sentinel or what they would call them, wayward black people back then, rebel rousers. But we'll just put three for we're done playing all together. We're just completely done playing all together. So that's for you, chat, for the listeners and the viewers. When the state acts like a corporation, what does that make its people? Shareholders, one, servants, two, we're done playing, three. Know your rights. Texas Public Information Act. Agencies must cite statute for withholding. So if it's redacted, they must state the reason why it's redacted. And if it's redacted, appeal to the AG requesting that native file spreadsheets and all that without the redactions. No scans. We don't want no scans. We want the actual authored paper that was turned in. Y'all understand that? Procurement files. Ask for full request for proposals, RFPs even. Um, source scoring sheets. You get that. Elevator notes, evaluator notes. I'm sorry. Uh, addenda. If there was any adjustments, those are considered addendum or addendums once it's made official. Again, you could ask for your vendor Q&A. How did you come about identifying this particular vendor? You could, you know, dig all in their business. You could actually even ask for what the contract language said. Let me see what the contract said. Let me see that. Constitutional amendments, especially here in the state of Texas, recently passed amendments can be challenged for misleading language or conflicts. I would actually say speak to your city council, city legal team if you feel that these propositions may impact you negatively. Right. Ethics, donor transportation, transparency, I'm sorry. Campaign finance reports. Find out who giving to these donors. What these donors are giving. Find out what their back pays are. Because I'm sure just because somebody gave what they said they gonna give a bunch of money to pay for the military, the United States military, I guarantee you that money ain't coming with just, oh, I'm gonna give to pay y'all to pay the United States military.
But what is that 130 million gonna do?
Not
You can't pay all the E1s in the army with that.
Dustin, like I said, what you buying with that?
You can't pay for the Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. I know you ain't trying to pay all that salary.
That's trillions of dollars just in personnel, right?
And there's a reason we got a defense budget, and it's way more than 100. So who are you fooling? Talking about, oh, we got a donation for 130. Okay, cool. You could buy them some toiletry.
That's it.
Cause you sure ain't
You could
cut no
buy
paycheck with that.
right. You could buy some more MREs.
You can't even buy that. The price went up on those.
Oh dang, they did, didn't they?
And they got rid of
Well,
my favorite flavor jambalaya.
they did. That's ethnically inclined.
Must have been DEI.
So that was a DEI meal. Man. Um, so I definitely want y'all to please be paying attention to what's going on here in the state of Texas because there's a lot that is happening and it's happening quick. Um, connect the dots. It's your money. Connect the dots. It's your money. I don't care if we are led to believe that they're giving more than what we are. We outnumber them. We outpay them anytime. They money that they give to them is right now money. The money we get to give to them is retirement money. You see the difference?
But we have to get out there and vote.
Absolutely, 100%. Roundtable question for this particular segment is if Texas is the test lab for a corporate government, I'm sorry, a corporate ran government, how do we pull the plug before the model spreads to other states? And who must take the first public risk to make that real? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
If Texas is the test run, if Texas is the test run for corporate America 2.0,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
pulling the
Because you know that's what
plug.
it is.
Pulling the plug means voters, workers, and locals refusing to play along. And only leaders
Mm-hmm.
who owe nothing to donors will have the guts to do it.
I
Bingo.
agree. I agree. I agree. A read. I don't know
That's
if
it.
y'all ready for that read, but that was a read.
I know, right? For our
Listen,
leaders, huh?
especially, I mean, because the kids today call that, oh, you digging. No,
I
she
did
ain't have
that.
to dig for it, but that was a nice dig, though.
Mm. Can you hear me now? Do you hear me? Wait. What's that T-Mobile saying? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Dustin, you have the floor.
As a chess player myself, my strategy is for Texas, we gotta get them pawns out our way first, which basically means we need to change the face of Texas. And by face of Texas, I mean Abbott, Patrick, Paxton, Nelson, and Rafael Cruz. He need to go as well.
I, t-
The whole
I totally
crew.
agree. I totally agree. Start with a blank slate. Make some clauses or something where we rotate that office for the next
And
10
that
years.
happens with our votes. We got to get
Right.
out there and vote. Everybody
Right.
has to do it.
Right. And then again, like I said, since they have constitutional amendments like these, then we need to put one of the main ones on the ballot. Removal from office. We have the right to remove you from office. I hope y'all know that we do not have that right here in the state of Texas on the government on the state level. We can't remove the governor. At least not to my reading. I'll go back through the Constitution, but I don't think we could remove that, man. Just out of the the goodness of the heart of the people,
So you
You
saying
know I'm
his
writing it
wheels
down
are
so I can
cement
look it up,
blocks?
right?
huh? Yeah,
I said, you know,
Let me see.
I
I
don't think
know
he could be impeached.
I know them wheels aren't cement blocks. There got to be a way to move them.
He got a boot on it. Yeah, look that up to see if we could impeach our governor.
So according to my phone and whatever that lady name is on it, it says he can be impeached, but it has to start in the lower courts. And I think he got his thumb on them, so it looked like we gonna have to go another way about it.
Mm. Okay. So we'll come back. We'll come back with that. That'll probably be like 3 shows away from here. We'll have a strategic plan so that we could have that language in our constitution and we know it to be so in our community, not just in our constitution. um Dustin, you have the floor. Or did you answer? Yeah, you answered. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, I talked
My
about them
brain bad.
pawns already.
My bad. My brain bad. Um I'll answer the
second three.
question. Yeah. But I think and for this particular risk that we may be facing here in the state of Texas, y'all, I think we have to not only identify certain things, but it starts where retaliation hurts least and visibility helps the most. Okay, local officials willing to co-sign refusal letters and publish them. That's going to help. Just like Dustin said, it's going to have to start on the local level, especially if we want the local courts to move in our favor for the removal of higher office. So that's what we need from our local offices to co-sign refusal letters of impact, things that they see within their community based on these perplex constitutional amendments being offered on the ballot. Again, the only way you could definitely move that needle is vote no on all 17. Go to the poll and vote no on all 17. You cannot make that happen from your porch, your couch, your phone. You have to go to the poll on November 4th, no later than November 4th at 7 o'clock to make that happen. Um, Small business owners, especially those of us who will opt out of pay to play, and those that's willing to tell their stories, I guarantee you they'll start listening because although we have a large um population of major corporations, they can't move without us. They can't move, they can't function, they can't even profit without small business owners. I promise you. That's just leverage that I think that we could use in order for our state officials to understand that we mean business. Um, um, Civil rights attorneys, which are also known as action attorneys. Um, uh, s- Even health attorneys. Uh, I guess we have the luxury here in the city of Beaumont to have in our graces the attorney's office that took on the tobacco industry. So and won. So movement attorneys who file fast and teach faster, especially if we can make capture more expensive than compliance. Uh, Relentless records and coordinated testimony, lawful recalls were available. And again, like Dr. Campbell said, voter education that names names. I guarantee you, we can make Texas tremble. And like Dustin said, I don't do party affiliations quite well either because both of them are selling us out. So I'm not worried about becoming red or blue. And if purple is the color y'all striving for, I don't. I hope y'all talk about royal purple because I belong to a, a royal decree. Now that the blueprint we can now to the blueprint we control y'all, and that's in our local systems. We can build without permission. I want y'all to understand we could definitely have um, a sufficient and sustainable community that looks like government, but it's not. And it looks like non-governing or government government organization, but it's not. It's 100% community support, community organization, and community sustainability. So that takes us to our segment 3. This is something that you can do in your local. Of course, uh, we're talking about Beaumont, but this is again a universal roadmap that you could use regardless to what city you are in. Again, I want you to understand that um, some cities in the state of Texas do not have home rule. So I'll try to address that, or we'll try to address that on this show in this particular segment on this evening as well. So what we're digging into, I'm sorry, the title for this segment is Independence 2.0. Um, Building freedom from the ground up, especially being that, like Dustin said, it has to happen from the ground. Like Dr. Campbell has said in the past, it has to happen from the ground up. We have to definitely reach back to pull information not only from the past, but to those individuals that are obviously being left behind. So what we're digging into this particular segment is how cities soaked in debt service and bond dependence, banks eat first, neighborhoods eat last. Of course, you know that's what we're seeing even before the the federal shutdown and the threat to cancel SNAP. Replace dependency with durable systems is something that we definitely have to understand by building co-ops, public benefit corps, community land trusts, just like we mentioned in the past, as well as neighborhood microgrids, just like Dustin mentioned, as well as apprenticeship pipelines. We've all mentioned that on this at the table. So we're gonna throw it back right back in our, your faces as community to let you know that these are some of the ways that you can fight the tyrant and let it wipe out who is gonna wipe out and sustain those that it must sustain. Again, we've seen what happened to communities by, well, not us in particular, but we've seen what happened to communities during Reconstruction. We've seen what happened to communities, after Reconstruction. We've seen what happened to communities during the alleged, um, you know, dark times in America. They call it, when nobody had no money. And it's a mirror of what's being played right before us today. Especially if you go before to see, what was the issue in America to have them to go through, a government shutdown or what they called a recession, or a depression. And history writes that America um, persevered through a Great Depression. Uh, Again, I don't know how those markets played into those individuals' favor, but we definitely want you to understand that this is not separatism. This is not separatism. Although we see other forming white communities. We've seen white collectives and white supremacist groups and organizers, you know, those individuals that believes that there needs to be, a round of um, white reparations. So, we're not talking about, separatism. We're talking about complete self-sufficiency. Um, I know clichely it's said in the black community, we do rich, poor, bright skin, light skin, brown skin, dark skin. That's not what this is. We cannot be sufficient in those manners. Again, when higher systems stall, um, prepared communities, especially those that have a plan, are the ones that survive. And I keep hearing, even when um, we're threatening even in the midst of the government shutdown and snaps being halted for some people, many in my communities or within my diaspora are saying, um, we ready. Now, this has been nothing new to us. We've always had to have a struggle meal that lasted us more than, the day it was cooked. So, you know, um, I just definitely want us to be on one accord, and that's what I think segment three does. Shows independence and is not theory. It's a checklist. In 90 days, the neighborhood can stand up uh, with food rotation, filtered water, basic power resilience, car and care rides, and a youth trade crew fixing what the city keeps overlooking, right? Then lock it in with bylaws that can't be bought. Because again, just like we said, we have uh, already developed, our community land trusts. So our land is our land, and it's it. You know, um, and it can't be bought, it can't be sold, and it can't be inundated anymore or encroached anymore by industry and or alleged governments. Power shots, y'all ready? Dr.
Yep.
Campbell, I'm gonna give you your shot first. Let's see. What does a truly independent city look like? Um, and is that one that feeds itself, powers itself, and protects itself without waiting on Austin and or DC?
Yes, it is. A truly independent city grows its own food. They have community gardens all over, right? It makes its own energy and it keeps its people safe. No waiting on Austin or DC, just neighbors running things for themselves. And it can
I
work.
agree. I agree, especially in what we've been saying almost from the first episode that we started
Exactly.
on on the roundtable talk is building collective. Um, so Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
So let us know, how do we protect those same communities from being targeted, defunded, or co-opted once they start succeeding from or being independent? Let us know how that look.
All right. First off, y'all pull up y'all Google. Look up the name Malcolm Tanner. Malcolm Tanner is a black man who saw a little community and decided, let's do something about this. So Malcolm Tanner is getting people, black people, to move to a small town called Loving County in Texas. It is located in the Permian Basin, and recently its oil and gas revenues have grown significantly and is gaining a lot of attention. But the thing is, the county only has less than 100 residents.
Hmm.
So he saw an idea. Hey, let's get all these people to move to this area. So guess what? Now we control the political climate of this county. We now have the voting power of this county. So
Right.
we can get with the numbers, we can control everything about this town.
100%. And just like you said about this county, man, y'all came with it today. And I'm like, I'm loving it how like strategic and like, let me flick this book on you.
Wow.
Yes,
Gotcha.
indeed. Gotcha. My shot, of course, y'all know, like I said, I try to, I definitely try to follow the policies that governs us, right? And so, um, my question is, which policy supports would help clean interconnection rules, um, community land trust tools, apprenticeship credits, and how do communities demand them now? Um, I would say community land trust, again, that holds land in the community and stops speculative flips as well as government encroachment. And I keep saying government encroachment because in cities like Houston or subdivisions, towns around Houston that once was were encroached and even eradicated by the port. And so that's known uh, as a government entity. And so I definitely want y'all to know I'm not just talking about cities when I say government encroachment. Um, it protects us from those types of government encroachments. It also protects us from industrial encroachment. We don't have to always wait for, designations of what's called environmental justice communities of concern with the land that we own, especially through a collective or you know community land trusts. We not only regulate the topsoil and what's underneath it, but as well as what's above. And so, if we can't impose regulations on those particular spaces, I definitely want y'all to know that um, the best way to do so is through community land trusts. Fair
Mhm.
interception, interconnection brings transparent fees and timelines for solar storage. Just like we said, if we don't have access to gas, and I'm not talking about natural gas, uh, and I'm quite sure we'll be able to outfit something like that even in our community for sustainability, right? Um, but having a solar knowledge and access for power storage is ideal, especially in a state where the grid go down if the snow's too heavy, or the grid go down if too many people's running their air conditioner in 100+ degree heat, or the grid go down just on a random sunny day just because they just wanted to roll you out, or do rolling blackouts through your community that particular day. Again, that protects us from not only um, the unforeseen, but it also protects us. It gives us a sense of stability when we have to go, like during Harvey days without lights, or Umberto days without lights. So, apprenticeship credits again, especially building these solar spaces, especially you know formulating these community land trusts. This gives us the opportunity to formulate intergenerational collaboration. Having our youth develop and write these grants and or the bylaws to fill some of these construction spaces to identify some of these areas of communication, teaching our elders how to use
Mhm.
uh, technology in their best benefit, to benefit the community as a whole. And we, as the nonprofit or non-governmental organization, give them accredited college hours or apprenticeship hours based on the work that we can see that they have done, right? So I mean, like, that's what this looks like. It looks like set asides, which is procurement lanes for community owned firms with local hiring metrics. Again, this gives that same pipeline for those youth that we was talking about, training in some of these apprenticeship spaces like electrician, and being able to identify capacitating loads, and um distributing loads. I mean, like, all of that comes in, understanding electricity, knowing the slope, how you have to how the ground has to be slope and dug when you're running sewage and pipeline and different things like that. All of those things we have in our community, right? Welding, pipe fitting. And if you know somebody that is a pipe fitter, tell them I say get at me. I got a job. I might be able to uh, put them in contact with, as well as an HVAC uh, person. If you own your own plumbing company or your own HVAC company, get in touch with me. I got something for you. Um, Again, that's what this looks like. Building those, quiet ops 30, 60, 90. Most people that are prior service military, again, depending on what your exposure is, Mr. Heckseth, you would know what a 30, 60, 90 is. Um, I don't think he went that far, or paid attention. He was probably intoxicated, inebriated, or even drunk, like a lot of people say Mr. Hegseth is. But again, quiet ops, day 1 through 30, you map your health needs and power assets. Find out what you can use. You know what I'm saying? Start pantry circles. um, Again, more than one fridge, more than one location, on more than one block. You don't go into the detail. Of course, we don't go into the strategic placement of it online, but you definitely communicate those, um, you know, backups throughout the entire system. Again, assign one text captain per 10 houses, or one text captain per block, depending on how many houses you have on your block. Days 30 to 60, you could definitely group quotes for rooftop solar, or community battery distribution, water filtration, launch weekly trash. I'm sorry, weekly team labs, so that they can understand how to do these particular trades, right? Days 60 through 90, file co-op bylaws. Again, that's establishing community, that's establishing government within your government. You're not trying to overthrow your government. You can't overthrow your government. I mean, we're currently living in a hostile government takeover, so can't never say never. So, you don't want to overthrow your government, but you definitely want to do some cooperative bylaws that tie people and commit people and covenant people, uh, one member, one vote, period. You know what I'm saying? Seed or join a community land trust. Seed it or join one. Even if you're the current property owner, join that community land trust. So the threats you see as a sole property owner or heirs property owner, you won't have to endure those things by yourself. The property is always yours. It's just inside a land trust. I'm telling y'all, I'm sure a lot of properties that are divvied up into community neighborhoods now, um, individuals moved in this space, and I'm talking about with acres of land that they had in a land trust. So we have to definitely be ready to move in that space. Um, Flashpoint for the chat. If the cavalry isn't coming, this is again for the local segment. If the cavalry isn't coming, what would your neighborhood build first to survive? Energy, put one in the chat. For food, put two in the chat. Or for defense, put three in the chat. And I want you to tell us why you picked those one. Picked one for energy, two for food, or three for defense. Let us know why. If the cavalry isn't coming, that's federal cavalry, FEMA, USAID, WIC, food stamps, all that. The state isn't coming, insurance. However, whatever. That's that place. That's that place that holds that money. Education. If you're noticing it's faltering, right? So if the cavalry isn't coming, county local, What would our particular neighborhood build first? What would your neighborhood build first to survive? Energy, food, or defense? One, two, or three. And let us know why. The roundtable question for this particular segment is I'm sorry, know your rights is home rule charter. Again, that's based on your size. Home rule charter grants cities the power to legislate locally once population hits 5,000. So those, you know, smaller cities that may not be at that size, it's all right. You're all right. Um, let's see, community land trusts, also known as CLTs, that allows residents to own property collectively, immune to developer buyouts, as well as governmental encroachment, industrial encroachment. It gives us the leverage to regulate the things that our city, county, state, and our federal government won't regulate. Community land trust. It allows residents to own property collectively and again, immune to developers, especially buyouts and even eminent domain. Federal block grants and disaster recovery funds can be accessed without city approval. So we always hear the CBDG, community block development funds or community block development grants. Well, we so choose to partner with the city so that we can get that money from the city, but we don't have to apply. We could apply right alongside the city as that same organization or
Hmm.
compete against the city in even some of their same grant writings. So again, that's without city approval and or um, collaboration. Nonprofits and faith institutions can apply directly. I'm gonna lean in. Nonprofits and
Mm.
faith-based communities can apply directly to the federal government for their set-aside community block development grant funds. We do not have to apply through the city of Beaumont. Just want y'all to know that.
Mm.
Local sovereignty is not rebellion, y'all. That's not rebellion. Local sovereignty is not rebellion. I just really want y'all to know it is protection. That's what it is. 100%. Roundtable question for this particular topic is if self sufficiency is now the only real security, what's the system your city or our city or neighborhood must reclaim? And how do we keep it in the people's hands once we do? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
We're going to start with food. Once you can feed yourselves, you can free yourself. Keep it in the people's hands by staying local, staying transparent, and never selling control for convenience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dustin, you have the floor.
Mm.
Mm. Piggyback off what the doctor said, and the first step of it has pretty much already been done, especially in Beaumont, but a lot of people haven't really realized it. The gathering of the people and getting them talking is the biggest hurdle of it all. And a lot of, if you look around Beaumont, we actually did it quietly, but no one really noticed with all the neighborhood associations that are now meeting throughout the entire city to talk about the issues and whatnot. So once you got the gathering, you got the people talking, balls can easily get rolling.
Absolutely. 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 I mean, like the com- the move of and the effect of I would say what we are putting out to our listeners and viewers within our communities um, are definitely making resounding actions. I mean, we, along with some other actions, probably on the inside of city government, has removed some individuals, made them resign, even. Some other individuals that were in particular spaces or managing those particular departments, since they resigned or left, those positions have went to somebody that, or you know yeah, I say somebody that's more effective and efficient to the city. you know um but you're right. um if I would have to say, I agree. Food, because you're not gonna have the energy to do it. I agree, Dustin. The collective conversation, because that gives people the opportunity for direction. So I mean, uh, yeah, start with
Communication rules the
energy.
nation. As long as we
Exactly.
can talk, yeah,
Exactly.
we can work things out.
Right. Start with energy, conversation. You know,
Hmm.
um, it keeps, like, you know, it it keeps people sane, especially if they don't have to go days on end without lights. I've seen people go years without bathing, but
And
I
it's
haven't seen
necessary to let
people.
people know that they're heard as well.
Right, right, right. But again, harnessing energy, whether it's solar or formulating, you know, mass capacity natural gas generators for people to be, self sufficient. Um, it has to start with energy, like Dr. Campbell said. It has to start with food. It has to start with the conversation. Um, it keeps us able to go to the table. Even if we carry lanterns, it's a sense of energy, right? Um, and then as it's converted, as you identify the energy even in the earth itself, because again, we can't always depend on, you know sunny days here in Southeast Texas to always harness, um, uh, solar power. We do live by a river. you know those wheels that churn and turn to create
Hmm.
energy. That's still options. All it takes is,
Hmm.
again, those apprenticeships that we need.
Hmm.
Again, I remember windmills not only being used to crush flour and wheat and corn, but also to generate power.
Hmm.
These are areas or resources that, I don't care who's in positions of power in your federal, state, county, and or local governments. Um, these are things that you could do as you govern yourself within, again, your community land trusts. Um, pair it again with land. Nobody can flip it from under the entire community. Nobody can move that land from. I, Nobody can move that land. And I do believe that's one of the main reasons that our ancestors put their property into estates, so that it could never be moved. Nobody can sell. No one person can sell and the property be removed out of its entire legacy or estate. So I think our ancestors, better yet, I know our ancestors was onto something, especially when they saw how their properties were divvied up after, again, the Civil War area, Civil War era. Again, a lot of black property, farm property was divvied up into what we now know as neighborhoods. So be just just pay attention to that. Guard both with airtight governance, open books, term limits, especially for those particular offices and committees and auxiliaries that we would have within our non-governmental organization. Um, and add youth seats that way that they understand uh, the process of governing. I read in a chat just a minute ago, leaders need to train behind themselves. 100%. And if you haven't reached out to a young person just to gauge where they are during the shutdown, you are you you're derogatory to your own existence. But again, that's things. That's how systems work, y'all. That's how systems outlive personalities or uh, self-appointed or self-perceived community leaders. That's how systems outlive um, personalities. That's one of the things that I do believe. If we don't get back to some of the old familiar systems, we'll repeat a lot of the things that brought the system into play in the first place. So um, I definitely want to let y'all know we appreciate y'all viewing us on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. Um, Definitely check out our platform host Tony Renfro on Sundays at 7 as he brings forth other conversations that's needed within our communities. And so, again, the Knowledge is Power podcast live at 7 o'clock on Sunday evening. You could definitely catch Tony Renfro. I definitely want to thank the Knowledge is Power podcast live family for, pulling up to the Roundtable Talk table. Um, and engaging with us on another night. Dr. Campbell, if you don't mind, give us something that'll close us out for the week. Dustin,
Mm,
you could follow her, and then I'll give out my close.
let me
Dr.
go
Campbell, you have the
last.
floor.
Let me go
Okay,
last.
not a problem. Dustin, give us the word of the week, brother.
Well, word of the week. Put up, I ain't got my readers on. Word of the week. With a few things going on in the media, people like throwing phrases out there. So word of the week is mafia.
Mm, mm.
Yes,
That's a
mafia. As an informal or general term, is often used to describe a criminal organization that bears a strong similarity to the original Sicilian mafia, the Italian American mafia, or other Italian organized crime groups. One thing you did not notice in any of those phrases is black people. So why is the FBI head guy, Mr. Bug Eyes, saying he arrests so many double digits folks in a mafia based gambling, illegal gambling scheme, but the only faces we see are three black men?
Dustin, how did I know? How did I know when you said especially especially when you said the word of the week was mafia? I was like, oh, he done pulled these three brothers.
I just,
I love it. I love it. Like,
I've seen a lot of mob movies. One thing I
and they
noticed.
none look like us. They none look like us, with the exception of Shatas. If you've ever seen Shatas,
But they
that's
wasn't technically
that's
classified as a mafia.
as a mafia, right? I was about to say that was just, you know what I'm saying, connections.
They're
That
just
was a
some gang
mafioso.
members.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, if you dig real deep, you'll find that even the um, Italian mafias or other more pronounced or recognized mafias learned their tactics from what what most people in in the world know as Moors, and we're not talking about the ones that y'all claim in West Africa. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the true Moors of America. They named them Moors because they were wayward people, not because they were not because they were you know, people of status. They were Moors is short for maroons. Just so you know. Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Real security starts when people take back what keeps them alive: food, power, and community, and stop waiting for someone else to save them. So get on it. Get on that good foot. Huh?
Get on the good foot. And I mean get on the good foot. Uh, for me, this week, I definitely want y'all to know. Again, like I said, I definitely appreciate you all tuning in on this evening. But um, like we started at the beginning of the show, let's tell the truth. The conflict is convenience for the powerful versus survival for the people. The cause is a machine that profits from chaos and fatigue. The consequences are hungry homes, hollowed agencies, and the lie that this is normal or democracy. Um, the cure to all of this is organized truth and, like Dr. Campbell said a few shows ago, disciplined action. Um, Not just, I didn't say docile action. I said disciplined action. Um, Paperwork plus people work equals receipts equals relief equals a system we own. 100% that we own, especially when we take notion of the things that we discussed on tonight. Look, if you can cook, your logistics, if you can drive your transportation, if you can wire or hot wire, you are definitely power. If you can read contracts, your compliance. If you could teach a teen or a teen teach a trade to an elder, you are workforce. If you can sit with an elder and fill forms, I promise your health care. If you can keep peace and solace in a system that recreate, that benefits us, and pray as a collective, not PREY, but PRAY, our safety, uh, our safety and sustainability is based on the next person on the side of us and the person behind us. and the alleged people that we appoint as leaders. Some moves are loud and need microphones, need meetings, and maybe even marches. Some meetings, some moves are like that. But some are quiet. This is like pantry routes, mid pickups, text trees, binder tabs, or binder drop offs so that you'll know, hey, this is the latest information because we don't want this to go out over the wire. um, because we could do both. Don't wait on permission from the same folks who paused your lifetime and your lifelines to the comfortable. And y'all know who y'all are. You comfortable in this space, and that may be okay. But neutrality is a luxury. The hungry can't afford you. Neutrality is a luxury that hunger will distort. You can't think right. That's why they always say, I'm Dustin, can you tell me if you when in the military did you go without a meal because they knew that your meals affect your logical thinking?
I ain't never missed a meal because they know if I miss a meal, I ain't doing nothing. Breakfast on time, lunch on time, dinner on time,
Facts.
midnight snack on time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I definitely want y'all to know that neutrality is a luxury the hungry can't afford you. Um, to the compromise, that's most of us. The compromise. Uh, paper trails find daylight, y'all. Paper trails do
every
find daylight.
every time.
To the faithful and the few, because I always hear the elders say the few and faithful and the faithful and few. But I definitely want to address the faithful, the few, and the fighters. I want y'all to lift y'all head. This is our time to build. This is our time to sustain. We have to understand that some of our elders are inheritance of civil rights, not fighters of civil rights. And those practices were never passed down through them to us. And we have to understand that they may not understand the totalities of the fight that their parents and grandparents had to endure. They are inheritance of civil rights, not fighters or leaders of civil rights. So don't be hard on them. Let's just show them, hey, these are the things that not only is written, but technology even telling you in your face. Chat GPT will read you something that your ancestors wrote that you had no idea about. So again, this is our time to build. Stay ready, y'all. Stay rooted and stay unafraid. And again, don't ever panic because we will stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for listening and watching. God bless. Good night. We don't even get no extra music, Queen.
Oh, I got something.
Look, there it is. Bam. There you go. I was waiting for some jam, some outro music. I appreciate y'all tonight. Tonight was jam, yo.
It was.
Very
I
deep
thought I thought
conversations.
our guest was gonna be on, so that's why I try to keep my answers concise.
Yeah, I like after I didn't get, the okay that our
Right,
guest would be on, I was like, well, let me dig deeper into my responses and my narrative.
right.
And then, yesterday I ended up, um, I was out of the state of Texas, so it was crazy, crazy travels.
Mhm.
Then I heard y'all had storms today. Hope everybody's all right. Nothing major happened. I hope to people I love and those that love them.
It just drizzled around here a little bit. It was, I mean, that kind of little harsh out for a minute around 6ish or whatever. But
Uh huh.
other than that, no, it's over.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
definitely enjoyed it.
Great show, guys.
Thanks, Big
Enjoyed
Bro.
it.
I appreciate it, man.
See you guys next week with another huge episode.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh.
Round table talk.
Yes, indeed. I'm already in the plots of it right now, man.
Oh snap!
You know what? We have some. Are we still on the line?
We are.
Yeah, I'm going to end the show now. Thanks
Kind
everyone.
kind
You
kind
Y'all
of
have
guys
a
stay
good
appreciate.
night,
backstage.
Lyle.
You guys to stay backstage.